Breeze Nation, what is good? It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love to another edition of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. A lot to get into on today's episode. Starters will play Sunday. What do we want to see from the starters? We got an update on the Kyler Gordon injury. Also got to talk about, of course, today at training camp. An interesting name in the mix at left tackle. Does that mean something else probably needs to happen? We'll talk about all that and more on today's episode, man. Like I said, hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Let's start off with the starters, right? The starters playing Sunday. Very excited to see this. I mean, I told you guys I'm not expecting the world here on Sunday. I don't think that we're going to play a half. I think we'll probably get a couple of drives in here based on how Ben Johnson has operated things in the past. But it is good to know that the starters are going to get some in-game reps, because the one thing that continues to pop up that I think is the most important thing that this team needs to get under wraps is the pre-snap issues. And I think you don't figure out some of these pre-snap things without the pressures of the crowd around you, without going out there and having an opposing defense that's going to hit you with a move every now and then and try to get you to jump. I don't think that you understand fully, okay, where the issue is at unless you get out there in real game situation and start to try and get that under control. That's been an issue that we've seen continue to pop up in camp. We saw that pop up in the first game in preseason when Tyson Bagent was running the show, when Case Keenum was running the show. It seems to be a team theme this season. I've said, this has been a theme of this team for the last few years. So very excited to see what this first team offense is going to look like and if they can kind of get it under control. I think that's the thing I'm more worried about than anything with this team. I don't care as much about Caleb going out there and being accurate. I've seen Caleb be accurate. I know he can throw the football. I don't care as much about, the first team offense being able to, because as practice has gone on, we've seen the first team offense, when they can run plays, start to get some things moving the right direction, have really efficient days, but the play starting seems to be the biggest problem. I want to see this first team offense getting reps. Kind of, again, it's going to be vanilla plays, but calling an offense that these guys feel comfortable with and how they're getting out there, getting through the procedure, getting the play call in, getting in and out of the huddle, and going forward from there. Very excited to see that defensively. I think it's going to be really fun to see kind of what this defense looks like with the first team starters out there for Dennis Allen. We talked about, how exciting that defense looked with Noah Sewell out there getting a big stop on the fourth down, right? And getting the forced fumble, and Austin Booker out there. Well, how much more exciting could it look when a guy like Dio Odangbo today, who had a really, really good day at practice, I thought he was continuously creating pressure. He dominated in one-on-ones. Y'all saw my tweet. If you didn't see my tweet, he destroyed Braxton Jones today. It was Braxton was, I don't know if he was nervous or what, but he false started the first time. The second time there was a snap when they actually snapped the ball in one-on-ones. I mean, Braxton jumps back. He tries to make a move. Dio comes over with the swim. Braxton's on the ground. Somebody pick that man's up, bro. It was ugly to see, to say the least. That's probably our starting left tackle. We'll get into that conversation. But, it'll be good to see kind of what Dennis Allen's defense looks like with Dio Odangbo and with Montez Sweat in there. Seeing Grady Jarrett's first snaps in a Chicago Bears uniform with that pressure up the middle. Seeing Javon Dexter, who's been, I don't even know if you could say he's stood out, because he's just had such a consistent camp. And I don't mean that to say he hasn't made plays. He's consistently been the guy forcing pressure up the middle, in the backfield, in the face of Caleb Williams, moving guys out of the way. It's kind of just what I expect from Javon Dexter right now. He's I'm not saying he's at Grady Jarrett levels, but when Grady Jarrett comes to the line, you just go, yeah, Grady Jarrett. That makes sense. So really excited to see that from the defense perspective. Also excited to see what this DB room is going to look like. We know Nashawn Wright and Tyreek Stevenson, they are the two that are going for that first team or second DB spot on the first team offense. But I really want to see what Jaquan Brisker looks like back on the football field. We haven't seen much from Jaquan in a long time. I mean, week 4 or 5 of the season last season before he went out? Before we ended up going to London. We know that, right? We haven't seen Jaquan in a while out here. I asked Al Harris about Jaquan Brisker and kind of, what stands out about him as a player. And this gets me excited, because this is truly only seeing him in practice, not seeing the monster that he becomes in game. But I asked him, what have you seen on tape that now seeing it in person you feel like has really just like the tape doesn't quantify it. And he talked about his explosiveness, how quickly he's able to get downhill, how explosive he is in both pass and run defense. I'm so excited to see what Jaquan Brisker looks like. Again, a vanilla defense, but we know Jaquan plays at 140 miles an hour no matter what. Hopefully, health permitting, he's going to be able to play, the full time he's supposed to be out there. I think that everybody around Jaquan is more worried about Jaquan being hurt than Jaquan is. You hear that in the press conference. You can tell he's sick of answering questions about it. You can tell he's sick of, he's not worried about the concussion. He's playing a million miles out there. He's made plays just about every single day. So it's going to be very intriguing to see what Jaquan looks like out there. Let me know how you guys feel in the comments below. I'll be down there talking with you as well. What do you want to see from the Chicago Bears first team offense and defense heading into this first preseason game that they're going to get in the second preseason game versus the Buffalo Bills? Now, again, we don't know how many snaps they're going to play. Ben Johnson said he doesn't know the snap count exactly yet, but that they are going to get out there. I would expect to see them play a drive, maybe two. I don't expect to see them out there getting a ton of reps. It's just not how Ben Johnson has operated things in the past. I know Jared Goff, very different situation than Caleb Williams has been in, but I doubt we're going to see a half of Caleb Williams out there for this Bills game. Just some housekeeping kind of to get through here. Appreciate you guys for tuning in, showing love. Drop a bird down in the comments if you're still rocking with your boy here. Kyler Gordon got an update on his injury issue. He's going to be week to week. That's concerning a little bit because and I shouldn't say concerning. It's concerning a little bit for one reason, because you never know what a hamstring is going to be. It's also not that concerning to me for reasons I said before, right? Like, this is kind of what happens when you're being asked to practice at a level that you haven't been asked to practice at. Remember, J-Mac has talked a ton about, what it was like going from Dick Duran to Lovie Smith and how the expectation of them and how they practiced and how they played and everything that was there. There were a ton of pulled hamstrings. There were a ton of pulled muscles, back issues that popped up because these guys weren't prepared for what they were going through. Not to say that they weren't practicing hard before, but they weren't practicing to the standard that Lovie Smith had set out. I think that's the case here with Ben Johnson, why I'm not that worried about some of these, but it is concerning because a hamstring issue, you never know what it could be. It could be a 2-week issue. It could be a 2-month issue. We've seen these things be 6-month issues. Sometimes it doesn't get right during the season. We know how Kyler Gordon can be utilized in this defense. We know how Kyler Gordon can go out there and make plays. So it is something that you want to see Kyler Gordon bounce back from. The hope is still that he's going to be back here by week 1, but they are treating this as a week-to-week injury. We also got an update on Jalen Johnson. Kind of, not really, but I mean an update in the sense of he's still on track. That they have to be very careful with these injuries, but that they still feel like he is on track to still start week 1. Now, remember that Luther Burden was on track to be back by the beginning of training camp. Remember that Colston Loveland was on track to be back by mini camp. We didn't see those things happen that exact day. That's practice, so you don't care as much with a starting for our first game of the season, starting offense. You would like to know who your starting defense, I should say. You would like to know who your starting DBs are going to be. We know this competition between the number 2 is still going back and forth between Tyreek and Deshaun Wright, but it would be nice to know, okay, can we get a definitive Jalen's going to be out there? But they're not ready to say that just yet. They're still kind of keeping that under wraps. All right, let's talk about practice a little bit today. I thought that and kind of the conversation I was having on why I want to see starters play in this game on Sunday, I thought that when the play got off, Caleb looked fine. I'm not going to sit here and do the, these stats are important because the days where Caleb goes 2 for 16, I could care less about, just like the days where Caleb goes 16 for 16. But he did have an efficient day when the snap got off today. The story of camp, the thing that concerns me the most, the thing that, the thing that this first team offense, second team offense, third team offense are all struggling with is the pre-snap issues. I counted 6 false starts, illegal formation penalties, and just pre-snap procedural issues that popped up from the first, the second, and the third team offense. The first team offense, I believe, came away with 3 of those, but just continuing to see that issue pop up time and time again. How many times last season was that a drive killer or a play killer for the Chicago Bears? I get it. I'm excited about the offense. I think that when the plays are running, and what you saw today, you saw a couple of nice hookups to Rome Odunze from Caleb Williams. You saw a couple of nice hookups from Olamide Zaccheaus, who seems to be one of Caleb Williams' favorite targets. I thought DeAndre Swift had a couple of nice runs today as well. But there's one period today where you just look at it and you go, this is still something that seems like it may be a major concern for the first team offense. As I pull the notes up here, this was the worst period of the day. Hand off to Swift, good cutback, big play. Pass over the middle to Rome, big gain, big pass over the middle. Illegal formation, false start, fumble, the big 3. We got a Kendrick Lamar song going on here. You know what I mean? Like, I would like to be a Kendrick Lamar song after big 3. It's just big me. I'm waiting for this offense to turn into big me. That is kind of where, and after that, right, big pass to Swift, it was a good gain on that. That is where my concern will continue to lie, because those were things where last year I asked Matt Eberflus, okay, we're seeing these things pop up. How are we going to get these fixed? Is this going to be an issue? Yada, yada, yada. I think the first play from the actual regular season, when we got out there, first team offense, we're all excited. Here we go. This is going to be the year, baby. Caleb Williams, here we go. False start. Ain't that about what the heck? Like, those are the things that you can't have happen. They continually put you behind the 8 ball. I understand we have a coach that more times than not is going to go for it. I understand we have a coach that can dial up big plays. But if you're taking 1 step forward and 2 steps back every time, that's going to be something that's going to end up biting you in the butt time and time again. Penalties has been the biggest issue for this team going back to Mitch Trubisky. And for some reason, we still can't seem to get that under wraps. Now, a lot of time here. I'm not saying this is going to be a regular season issue, but it's why I'm excited to see the first team starters get these reps, because I think when you have the crowd around you, when you have a real defense around you that's trying to get you, when you have somebody on the other side that has to play, like when starters playing preseason, it's not like they're playing 50%. Like, these guys are going after you. So when you have somebody on the other side that's trying to take Caleb Williams' head off, what is that going to look like? I also like this for the fact that, seeing that first team offensive line together for the first time. What is that going to look like? I know we've kind of gotten into the camp here, but like looking at the first team offensive line, I should say, it has been consistent with Drew Dalman. It has been consistent with Joe Thuney. It has been consistent with Jonah Jackson. Today we saw kind of some swap in and out of Darnell Wright and Ozzie Trapillo. Don't know if that means that Ozzie may end up being a swing tackle here early on in the season, or if he is going to be that starting left tackle. That left tackle position has continued to be a question mark. And I want to see what Braxton Jones looked like real game situation, because today, again, he gets hit with a false start. I think Cole Kmet got hit with an illegal formation penalty. Like, those are the things where you look at it and you go, that's going to be a problem. Not the actual protection, not the actual play. Those are fine. That's going to be a problem if the same guy that we feel like we need to rely on keeps popping up too early or keeps going because he doesn't have the skill or he doesn't have the speed or he doesn't have the technique to go out there and just beat his man one-on-one, which is what we've continued to see. I asked Ben Johnson about that when he first came here, and of course, you know what they're going to say. I don't know what happened previously. I don't have any problem with that. We're going to get that fixed while we're here. That's why we're putting in the work. We haven't seen it yet. And that's my biggest concern in these practices. Outside of that, I thought today was a great day. I thought that there were a lot of really good plays. I thought that Rome Odunze had a couple of big catches. Rome comes away with a touchdown in a red zone period from Caleb Williams, right? You get DeAndre Swift with a touchdown in that red zone period. Like, I thought that there were some really good moments from practice today for you to be able to take away from and say, oh, this is a really, really good learning moment here for Caleb Williams. I thought even, right, there was a moment at the end of practice where Caleb drops back, scans the field, looks at the defense, sees OZ underneath, boom, let me hit him. These are learning moments that I truly like that we're seeing from Caleb Williams. But you do have to look at this and have some concern on the pre-snap issues. And to me, it's my biggest concern coming out of today. It's my biggest concern that's been coming out of just about every day of one of these practices. The best day we had was, I guess, the toughest day of practice where we didn't have a ton of the procedural issues. So outside of that, though, I thought that, the team did pretty well today practice-wise. We did get an interesting wrinkle. And I'll finish out the episode on this. Thank you guys for tuning in and showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Actually hit the like button, though. Don't just like hear me say that and don't do it. Like hit that mug. I'll be playing games with me sometimes. If you listen on the podcast side, 5-star review. 5. Spotify too. You can leave stars on Spotify now. Get the game together. We got a new interesting wrinkle into the left tackle competition. Braxton Jones got the first start with the ones. With the ones and the twos today. Ladies and gentlemen, the Canadian Eagle is back, and he's flying high. Theo Benedict getting snaps with both the ones and the twos today. Now in that mix with the left tackle competition. Oh, Karan must have been hurt. Nope, Karan was out there with the threes. And truly, that is the sign to me, and I don't know how you guys feel. Let me know in the comments below. If right now you're putting Karan out there behind the Canadian Eagle, no disrespect to Theo Benedict, the dog. Come on, Eagle. But if you're putting Karan out there behind Theo Benedict, let's see what he look like at guard. Let's move this competition. Like, he's out of the competition. Because now it truly is, not only do you not feel comfortable with Karan as the starter, and I know I was talking with Alex Shapiro, and he was like, maybe it's a ramp-up period. He got a lot of reps with the starters. It's a heck of a ramp-up. Or with the threes, I should say. That's a heck of a ramp-up. But if you're not feeling comfortable running Karan with the twos to the point where you throwing Theo Benedict into the mix, let's move this process along and start to get Karan some work in, possibly at guard. Whether it's left guard, right guard, whatever it is. Need that interior depth. Need a guy that can go in there and know what he's doing. Need a guy that can see it. I know we cross-train at all these positions, and we got guys that can move around. If you do have an injury on one side, we know Joe Tooney can play every spot on the offensive line if you need him to. But we can speed this process up because clearly he's out of the battle right now. Now, I know a lot of you wondering, well, what about Ozzie? Ozzie was getting work in on the right side today. He was behind Darnell Wright with the twos. I don't know if that is a signal that he may end up being, possibly a swing tackle here. I talked about this morning with Jordan JC on the Morning Breeze. There is a lot of tough matchups early on, and maybe you want to build up some of that trade value. Maybe you want a veteran in there versus some of those matchups early. I mean, you got Micah Parsons, you've got Aiden Hutchinson, you've got Javon Hargraves, and Jonathan Greenlaw. You've got I'm missing somebody in that mix, but you got a lot of extremely tough matchups here early on that maybe you don't want to throw a rookie out there and just have his confidence shattered because you don't feel like he's ready for that moment. Or you feel like, yes, he's at Braxton's level, but that's going to be very different. I thought that Ozzie played really well in the preseason game, but it was against the twos and threes. That makes a big difference. Twos and threes are not Aiden Hutchinson. Twos and threes are not Micah Parsons with Flus with a chip on his shoulder. So keep an eye on that left tackle conversation. I think that this is one that continues to be intriguing. I think it's one to really keep an eye on during the preseason game. And we'll be back here tomorrow with more of an update for you guys. As always, hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. I'm going to get up out of here because I got to go pick the kids up, and it's a long ride home. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Appreciate you guys for tuning in and showing love. Bear down. One love. We'll be back tomorrow morning for the Morning Breeze, I believe. Time-wise, we'll be back tomorrow for the Morning Breeze. Peace.